In 1932, a country sent its actual military into battle, machine guns, trained soldiers, 10,000 rounds of ammunition, and they lost. Not to another army, not to rebels or spies or a rival nation. They lost to birds. I'm not exaggerating for views. This is a real documented event, with real military reports, real newspaper coverage, and a real body count. Governments have started wars over less and lost less embarrassingly. So let's talk about the time Australia declared war on emus, and emus won. After World War I ended, the Australian government wanted to do something for the soldiers who'd survive it. So they gave a lot of veterans land in Western Australia and told them, start over, become farmers, grow wheat. Sounds nice on paper. In reality, these men had almost no farming experience. The land was rough, and by the early 1930s, a brutal drought has already made growing anything close to impossible. Wheat prices were crashing before of the Great Depression too, so these farmers were already barely hanging on, and then things got weirder. Every year, emus in the region migrate inland after their breeding season, looking for water and food. Normally that's just a thing emus do. Nobody notices. But in 1932, around 20,000 emus made that migration, and instead of finding empty land, they found endless, freshly planted wheat fields. To an emu, that's basically an all-you-can-eat buffet, with a water park attached. They tore through fences to get to the water tanks. They trampled entire fields flat, just walking through them. And once the fences were down, rabbits started pouring through the gaps too, which made the crop damage even worse. Farmers were watching months of work get flattened by birds that, frankly, could not care less. So the farmers did what farmers do. They complained to the government. A group of them, many of whom were actual war veterans, sent a request asking for help dealing with the emus. And somewhat as a joke, they specifically asked for machine guns, since they'd used to them in the actual war. Here's the part that should not have happened. The government said yes. The Minister of Defense at the time agreed to deploy actual military personnel and weaponry against the emus. Newsreel cameras were even brought along, because everyone assumed this would be a quick, easy symbolic victory that would look great in the papers. They had no idea what they were about to sign up for. In November 1932, Major Meredith was sent out with 2 Lewis machine guns and 10,000 rounds of ammunition. His mission officially was pest control. Unofficially, this was treated like an actual military campaign, complete with strategy briefings and troop movement against the population of flightless birds. If you're picturing a serious war room map with a big arrow pointing at a flock of emus like they're an invading battalion, yes, that's basically what happened. The first engagement did not go well. Around 50 emus were spotted near a local settlement. The soldiers tried to ambush them, herding them toward the guns. But the second the shooting started, the emus scattered in every direction, and it turned out machine guns are actually pretty bad at hitting fast, unpredictable, zigzagging targets spread out across open ground. And these are not slow birds. Emus can run up to 30 miles an hour. On foot, soldiers simply could not keep up. So they tried something smarter. Or so they thought. They mounted a machine gun onto the back of a truck so they could chase the emus down while firing. In practice, the truck bounced so violently over the rough terrain that the gunner couldn't hold a steady aim. The gun jammed repeatedly, and at one point the emus were reportedly outrunning the truck entirely. A machine gun, mounted on a truck, outrun by birds. Here's the part of the story that sounds made up, but it isn't. It's directly from Major Meredith's own reports. The emus started adapting. Group of them appeared to post a lookout. A single bird that would stay slightly apart, watching for the soldiers, while the rest of the group fed or moved. The moment that lookout emu reacted, the whole group would scatter in different directions before the soldiers could get in range. Military tactics, from birds against the military. Major Meredith himself later compared the emus to seasoned fighters, remarking that they seemed to shrug off bullets almost like they were bulletproof, retreating and regrouping instead of ever being caught in the open. This is a real quote from a real military officer about a bird. So how did the actual war effort go? Over about a week of operations, the soldiers fired thousands of rounds of ammunition. and the estimated number of emus killed was somewhere between 50 and a couple of hundred, out of an emu population estimated at 20,000. That is by any measure a catastrophic failure. The operation was quietly shut down and the military was pulled out. Naturally, the newspapers had a field day. The press mocked the entire operation mercilessly, and the story even reached international papers, turning it into a national embarrassment. One member of parliament reportedly joked that the emus deserved medals for the campaign, given they'd essentially outmaneuvered a professional military using nothing but instinct and speed. Somewhere in Western Australia in 1932, there was a group of emus that completely by accident out-strategized the human army sent to wipe them out. Here's the twist though, the emus were actually dealt with, just not by the military. The government switched to a bounty system, paying farmers directly for each emu they killed on their own land. And this simple, low-tech solution worked far better than the entire official military campaign ever did. Within months, thousands of emus were culled through the bounty program alone. Turns out you didn't need machine guns and trucks, you just needed farmers with a financial incentive and some fencing. Even today, this event is sometimes referenced, half jokingly, half seriously, in discussions about overestimating conventional force against an unconventional, unpredictable opponent. Some military strategy circles genuinely use it as a case study in overconfidence. So let's just sit with that for a second. In 1932, a modern nation deployed its actual army with actual machine guns against birds and officially lost. Nearly a century later, emus in Australia are still out there, roaming around completely unbothered, like they somehow know they won. Because technically, they did.